Hello, my name's Royalty. I'm Chief Analyst at Omdia, and welcome to this first Fast Chat with Gaby Boko, CMO at NetApp. Gaby, welcome to this Fast Chat.
Glad to be here.
Let's start with transformation, a word that everybody talks about, but I know at NetApp you've got that intelligent data infrastructure. And I know when I speak about it to clients and I speak about it to other people, people sometimes get bogged down in the technology, the technicalities of it. Can you give us how it's strategic? And if you've got examples of customers, that would be brilliant to sort of bring it to life.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we wanted to reframe our story, our narrative, and what it is that we did, we wanted to get back to the core of who we were. And that was really bringing data and data management and data infrastructure to our customers. We also felt that we needed to think about how we did it in the age of AI, right? So we didn't want to be an AI wash. We wanted to think about it in a broader term, which was how are we bringing AI building it into our products and thinking about how it is used in an AI fashion with a workload or a use case or just an initiative. So when we think about intelligent data infrastructure, even though we can connect it all the way down to the products, we really think about it as a data strategy. It is a transformative framework that is designed to help our customers and their businesses really execute their data strategies, right? And it helps provide that structure and that guidance, that integration that organizations need to address their complex challenges like multi-cloud management, AI, cyber resilience. These are all the things that our customers need as part of their data strategy. So I'll bring up two examples. One is DreamWorks Animation, a longtime customer. They actually say that they're in the business of data. Now, granted, it's super creative and it's beautiful and it's movie making, but it is data. It's petabytes of data for every animated film, including their most recent one, Wild Robot. And by integrating their NetApp products across a secure and scalable data management strategy, across their high performance storage, we enable them to really render and accelerate those creative workflows, drive innovation in their own storytelling, right? So IDI, Intelligent Data Infrastructure, it serves as that backbone to their data strategy. And the one last one, because I know that we talk about DreamWorks a lot, but Aruba IT is also a customer of ours, and they also are leaning into their data strategy with intelligent data infrastructure. And their whole job and goal there is to integrate their multi-cloud environments and with their data center environment. So this kind of transformation is saying we want security across wherever our data lives, and we want efficient infrastructure to be able to do that. So two kind of customer examples dealing with their data strategy, their data transformation, their framework, all driven by intelligent data infrastructure.
All right, that's interesting because that actually brings me on to a point which I think we're a bit future looking. Sort of data infrastructure is needed and intelligent data infrastructure is needed for AI. But how do you future proof that? Because nobody really knows where AI is going. And you mentioned it earlier, multi-cloud, on-premise, because currently people are training in the cloud, but some are training on premises. But when they get to using inferencing and they get to moving the workloads out to where it's needed, we could find an extremely complex hybrid mixture of locations where data is supposed to be, where it needs to be. I mean, how is intelligent data infrastructure going to help them there? I mean, it sounds like it should, but what specifics are you bringing out to the customers?
That's such a great question. I think the whole point of AI, right, is to make things simple and easy. But by making things simple and easy, you're also, exponentially increasing security risk. You're exponentially increasing your pace of innovation. You're exponentially increasing the amount of data you have to manage. So intelligent data infrastructure itself is built with AI readiness, and it has future proofing because we've thought about how these things integrate at its core. We've thought about how we seamlessly integrate your data, about eliminating silos and really thinking about how data is flowing. Again, by that cloud environment. I think NetApp is really the only vendor in this space who actually has relationships with all the hyperscalers in their cloud environments, and that makes this kind of integration almost required. So we're really excited about that kind of partnership. What it brings to seamless data integration. The other one is services, intelligent services, right? When you're thinking about how you're optimizing AI, both for today and tomorrow, you're really needing a set of tools, a set of services that are already built for the likes of where you want to innovate. I think the low hanging fruit with AI possibly is already done. Where's the next level, right? And I think that's the work that we haven't thought about, that most people haven't thought about yet. We're trying to think about that in terms of the types of services we bring you, thinking when you're bringing your AI to your data and your data to your AI, we want to be there with something that's super integrated and not a bolt-on that we've already thought about it. And you know what that gives us is really two more most important things I think that intelligent data infrastructure provides, which is scalability and flexibility. If you're already integrated, then you are already thinking about an adaptive environment. You're already thinking about that innovation. You're already thinking about that as part of your strategy. You're not having to think about it in pieces. And the last one is really that embedded security. Like I said up at the top, we don't know what AI is going to bring. But I do think that having it built in and having that thought process built into the framework and the strategy with embedded security, real-time threat detection, automated compliance, that ensures that no matter what your data continues to be or changes, that it's going to be protected. So, that's really my response on kind of how I think about future proofing. My favorite example, or actually two examples really quickly, is Aston Martin F1. When you're a car racer, you have to process and your simulation like super fast. And that requires fast decision making. That's that scalability and flexibility, right? And we're really proud that they use NetApp as part of that flexibility and that intelligent data infrastructure to really see in real time what's going on, not just on race day, but as you're building cars and as they're really changing their racing environments. And same with Tag Heuer, Porsche, right? We sponsor Formula E because we're committed to sustainability. But in addition to that, they use the cloud to manage their telemetry data. And that really says that you can do something that requires real-time information and do it securely and flexibly and with all of that AI built in. So two really great examples of that seamless data integration, of that embedded and integrated nature of intelligent data infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, I particularly like those because one of the aspects, and we haven't touched on this in our conversation yet, but one of the aspects that I'm seeing is the concept of sovereign AI.
Yeah.
Because people are now getting the idea that the intellectual property of developing AI needs to be done somewhere. So the data has to be protected. And you've talked to the security, but the sovereignty piece and making sure that actually that data, if it doesn't have to leave that geography, can be used securely and safely and still compliant with the country regulations. I think that's a very important aspect.
I'd agree. I think, listen, we want to, wherever your data is, we don't want to make it more cumbersome and complicated. Leave it where it is, because that's going to be the best and most effective way for you to secure it, as you've just mentioned, but also for you to integrate it, right? The amount of effort that goes into migration and moving of data is extreme. It can overpower an organization, and to have the flexibility to use it wherever it is and apply the same sort of strategy and infrastructure to it, that's what people want.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, we're coming to the end of our chat, but I want to go to one final question, if I may.
Yeah.
We all talk about business outcomes, and business outcomes are what the C-suite speak to us about. And this intelligent data infrastructure is going to give them great access to insights and new knowledge. But could you talk about some examples you've got of where and how this new knowledge will help them? Because some people, when you say that, they're going, well, what does that mean? What new knowledge am I going to learn? What new insights am I going to learn?
Yeah, it's listen, it's about making you and you as the customer more effective and efficient. We're not trying to change your structure. We're trying to enhance it. Some of our customers are already seeing some of the value, right? Ducati leverages NetApp, and again, part of about that agility. If you're racing, the San Jose Sharks actually uses it to evaluate and analyze their fan engagement data, which is how they're able to change like what food is there, in the stadium, how they're skating, what they need to do to the ice, what the fans see. So I think that's a fun example, but it's also, think about it, it's not just the San Jose Sharks. It's, you could do that for any environment as long as you're evaluating and analyzing that data and being able to apply rigor to it. Then that's what you want to be able to see. The same kind of KPIs that we've already talked about with Aruba, with DreamWorks, with Tag Heuer, with Aston Martin. I think the most important ones are about efficiency and collaboration. That seems to be the one that's really driving up. Security seems to be the other one. We're talking about outcomes that are not a security tack on, but a secure embedded security, which is preventing hacks. Really, this is data strategy essentials, and the measurable results are aligned to your data strategy, not aligned to our product, but aligned to your data strategy. That's the goal of intelligent data infrastructure. It should mirror what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a nice way to end on it. It's the fact that it's your data. You know what you want to do with that data. You're providing them with the tools and capability to implement that in the best, most secure way they possibly can. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a nice way to end. So thank you very much, Gaby.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, people, for listening. This is Roy Elsley, Chief Analyst at Omdia, and this is the end of our Fast Chat. Goodbye.